What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Doc Sports YouTube channel. My name is Sean Barnard, and I'm back talking some Survivor Pool NFL picks for you. We're coming off a crazy week 2 of football where we saw some upsets, some teams trending in very different directions than it was expected at the start of the season. Overall, in week 2, the favorites were 10-6 outright, but just 7-9 against the spread. The biggest win of the week was the Buffalo Bills over the Titans by a score of 41-7, while the biggest upset was the Dallas Cowboys pulling off a 20-17 upset over the Cincinnati Bengals to send them to 0-2 on the season. The Cowboys were +7 underdogs in that and +260 on the money line. So pretty crazy upset there. And we're going to jump right into week 3. Before I get fully into it, I do want to mention that new clients can get up to $60 worth of member picks for free at Doc Sports websites. That's docsports.com. So make sure to check that out. Go under the free 60 account and get your money's worth there because that's what we're all looking for. So now let's get right into it to these week 3 picks. An interesting slate of games this week. We're seeing kind of the separation of teams this year in a way that I think many didn't expect. So to see if we can capitalize this, the number 1 pick of the week, and this one's fairly a layup, but I have the Chiefs at Chiefs over the Colts. Two teams just trending in different directions. I think Kansas City has made a statement that they are here to stay. The loss of Tyreek Hill has not been as notable as some expected. They're spreading the ball around well. Their offense looks great. And in contrast, the Colts have been probably the biggest disappointment of the NFL season, if not the Bengals. But 0-2 on the year, tied the Texans, and just disappointing loss. You can't get shut out by the Jaguars, and just very little to be excited about. Matt Ryan's got 4 interceptions, just 1 touchdown on the year. They look like they're a little bit of a disaster. I expect the Chiefs to walk in here and take care of business easily. To move on to number 2, I have the Philadelphia Eagles over the Washington Commanders. The Eagles are probably the hottest team in the NFL right now. They're complete on both sides of the ball. Jalen Hurts putting forth an MVP-like performance. We're just seeing this team come together completely. We're going to see the Carson Wentz potential revenge game. The Eagles are obviously very familiar with him from his time there. I think this game's going to be closer than many expect, but I don't see a world in which the Commanders win it. The spread's at -6.5. I think there's even a chance that the Commanders can cover there, but I think it's a game that the Eagles are going to comfortably have control of and find a way to win for sure. Moving on to number 3, this is a game a little bit to watch, mainly because of the status of Justin Herbert, but I do have the Chargers over the Jaguars. Both teams entering 1-1, but I think in very different directions. The Jaguars, they kind of got that one feel-good win. They played very well against the Colts, so not to take anything away from them, but I think the Chargers are still a different class of team, and that's going to be showed. Stay away from it. Keep up right till kickoff based on if Herbert is playing, but Chase Daniel as the backup is not a bad option as a backup quarterback. I still think the Chargers win this game regardless, but if I'm using my survivor pool pick on it, I probably would stay away from it and save it for a game that Herbert is in there. To touchdown number 4, this one a little bit of a value play here. I got the Raiders over the Titans. Both teams entering 0-2, but once again, I think kind of 0-2 in different ways. The Raiders coming off that heartbreaking overtime loss to the Cardinals, in which the fumble and Kyler Murray did his thing to come out on top. But they had some real nice moments. It looked like that game was in control. I think they're going to get back on track. And in contrast, the Titans, just an absolute disaster. We saw the Bills just handily take care of them in week 2. Malik Willis got some shine. It feels like they're a team that's kind of hitting the panic button and they don't have a clear direction. And I think the Raiders are much more on the right track. While they're both 0-2, it feels like they're very different feelings surrounding their record. So I think the Raiders are going to capitalize, get back on track, and keep themselves somewhat in the conversation moving forward. Now to talk about some games that I want to avoid for this week. Number 1, I have the Browns and Steelers want to avoid the Thursday night football game. Of course, it'd be nice to get your pick out of the way on Thursday night, have a relaxing weekend, but I don't think this is the week to do that. I think this is going to be a grinded out game. Both teams going at each other, a lot of running game, just not the prettiest version of football, but a game that will be entertaining to watch nonetheless. So I think the Browns get the job done. I think the -4.5 spread is a little bit high, but this is one that I could see going either way, and I think you're better off staying away from. Moving on, I have the Bucks and Packers is another game that I would avoid. Could be the last time we see Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady take the field together. So going to be a special game, going to be some fun stuff going on there. I expect the Bucks to get the win here, but not one I'm willing to be comfortable enough in taking my survival pool play on. I would much rather save the Bucks as a pick for a more confident game. So that's one I think you should wait, and a fun game to tune into and watch nonetheless. Next up, I have the Texans and Bears matchup. I do think the Texans get the win here. Texans have impressed early on in the season. Davis Mills playing far better than I think many expected. But this is another game that I could see going either way. Kind of similar teams in the regard that they're both towards the bottom of the NFL, but have some redeeming qualities. So this is a game that I could see going toward either side. I expect the Texans to get the upset win, but I would stay away from this from a survivor pool play. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to follow along, and I will get back with you next week. But check out everything else we got at Doc Sports on the website. I have my written form of articles where I can go a little more in depth with each of these games, and make sure to check that out and everything else on the site. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will talk with you next week.